So today onwards, our new chapter, S block elements. S block elements. Already we know that in that S block elements there are two groups, first and second groups, that is 1A and 2A groups. 1A group elements are called as alkali metals, and second A group elements are called as alkaline earth metals. Okay, in your textbook there is a title S block elements as one of the chapters. So in that S block elements, so for this week, here we are going to discuss alkali metals. Alkali metals. Okay, nothing but first group elements, group 1 elements, 1A group elements. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. So what are the points here? We should remember. So it is totally theoretical chapter, my dear boys. So listen carefully. So and write the running notes. That is very important for us, for our studies. So see here. That is alkali metals. So one of the groups in S block elements, that is, what are those elements? Those elements are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. These are the 6 elements present in the first vertical column of the periodic table. First vertical column of the periodic table, that is why these are all first group elements, group 1 elements. Okay, so now, so atomic numbers of these elements, Z is equal to, for lithium 3N, for lithium 3. So just don't by heart it, so add 8N. So that is 11 is the atomic number. For sodium, as 18 boys, not only here, in every group, add, you should follow this one. So, sorry, not 18, it is 8. So 11 plus 8 and 19, it is the group number 8. Next, that is atomic number of potassium. Once again, it is 18, 36 plus 1, 37. Atomic number 37 for rubidium. So add 32. 32, that is, so what is that? So 18 plus, once again 18, not 32. 18 plus 18, 55 is the atomic number. Now add 32. 32 is nothing but, so 87 is the atomic number. So these are the atomic numbers, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32. These are the number of elements in corresponding periods wise. So that's it. The difference is here we added any. So these are atomic numbers. Now, what are the electronic configurations of these elements? So atomic number 3 means 1s2, 2s1 is the electronic configuration of our lithium. So outermost orbit contains 2s1. For simplicity, I am writing. So first orbit contains 2 electrons, second orbit contains 1 electron. That is why I am writing this one as 2, 1. First orbit has 2 electrons, second orbit has 1 electron, like that. Sodium, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. First orbit contains 2 electrons, second orbit contains 8 electrons, third orbit contains 1 electron. 281, 281, like that. Potassium, 2H81. So these are the number of electrons. So that means the summation of all these is equal to atomic number. Atomic number. Next, rubidium. So 2, 8, 18, H, 1 N. 18, 8, 1 N. Next one, cesium N. Cesium. It is 2, H, 18, 18, 8, 1 N. Francium, 2, 8, 18, 32, 18, 8, 1. These are the electronic configuration, boys. So in all these outermost orbits, only 1 electron, that too in s orbital. So that is why the general outermost electronic configuration is ns1. It is the general outermost electronic configuration for alkali metals. For Na metals, it is general outermost electronic configuration. Okay, that is NS1. Okay, next. Among all these elements, francium is the last element, which is the radioactive element, boys. That's why its chemistry is almost negligible because it is unstable. So that is why in the study of alkali metals, now I am neglecting this francium. So only lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. These 5 elements here we are considering it. So francium is neglected because it is a radioactive element. So it has very less time span and it is not possible to find out each and every property. So along with alkali metals, Next, all these elements are also called as common name. The common name for this group elements is alkali metals. As all these elements are metals, boys, so all these are called as alkali metals. What is this alkali? What is the meaning of alkali? Alkali means it is a strong basic in nature and also soluble in water. That means water soluble basis, boys. So they are strong alkali, so which is soluble in water. So when their oxides and these metals dissolved in water form respect to alkali sand. So later we will discuss, boys. Okay, so that's why water soluble bases are formed here. So that's why these are called as alkali metals. But in Arabic, alkali means that is ashes of plants. Ashes of plants. So that means most of the chemicals in those ashes are available in it. So finally, we are using here the word alkali means water soluble basis. Water soluble basis. So this is general concepts. Next, among these elements, this sodium is mostly available in the form of NaCl, in sea salts. In sea salts. So that means that is the salts available from our sea. So NaCl is the most important component. There our sodium is available in the form of NaCl. Next, KCl. So KCl as potassium as KCl, it is saline. So it is a name. So later we will discuss what are the ores of these elements. We will discuss any. So now, so most abundant is sodium. So remaining are in less amounts in our earth class 10. Okay. Next. So what are the physical properties of these alkali metals? Physical properties, boys. That is physical properties. At room temperature, all these are solids. All these are solids. So this is the first condition. So that is almost all silvery white solids. At room temperature, all these are silvery white solids. Almost colorless. Okay. Next point. So our elements: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. From top to bottom, atomic size, no doubt we know, increases. So from top to bottom, atomic size increases. Because atomic size increases, ionization enthalpy decreases. As atomic size increases, ionization enthalpy decreases. So very important. Okay. Next, all these from top to bottom, So metallic bonds strength top to bottom decreases. Metallic bond strength from top to bottom decreases because no doubt all these are soft metals, boys. All these are soft metals, easy to cut with knife, easy to cut with knife. So easy to cut with knife. So that means all these are soft metals. So that softness from top to bottom increases. That means cesium is the most softest metal and easy to cut and easy to cut. Okay, so this is next one. So because metallic bond strength top to bottom decreases, automatically melting point and boiling points also decreases. So top to bottom melting and boiling points of these elements top to bottom decreases as metallic bond strength decreases. So metallic bond already we completed at the time of our chemical bonding any. Okay, so that metallic bond strength from metal to element gradually decreases. That is a melting and boiling points decreases. Because of this reason, this last element cesium at almost at room temperature, almost the temperature is at 28.4 degrees centigrade. So actually room temperature we are considering as 25 degrees centigrade, but it is at 28.4 degrees. So it is liquid in state. It is a liquid in state. So that's why. So the cesium is at room temperature almost in liquid state, that is at 24.4 degrees. That means the melting point is very, very less, boys. So that's why at room temperature almost cesium is in liquid state. So that means top to bottom melting points and boiling points. So top to bottom decreases because of metallic bond strength decreases. Next one. So from top to bottom, density of these elements increases. From top to bottom, density of these elements increases. It is very, very, very important point, boys. Density of these elements from top to bottom increases. Okay, so that means therefore density order is the top to bottom increases means lithium less than, sodium less than, potassium less than, rubidium less than, cesium. So that means this is the order of density, boys, from top to bottom. So but the density of potassium is less than that of sodium. It is not correct, boys. It is exceptional case. So density of potassium is less than that of sodium. Why, sir? Therefore, actual density is lithium less than, potassium less than, sodium less than, rubidium less than, cesium. It is correct, boys. It is wrong. It is wrong. So that is correct. Why density of potassium is less than that of sodium? Why density of potassium is less than that of sodium? See here, I'm explaining the reason for that. That is, so when compared to sodium and potassium, potassium has big in size. So these are sodium atoms, boys. When sodium atoms are arranged side by side, so the gap between this metal atom to metal atom, this is called as interstitial space. So this space for sodium like this end, like this. But potassium is big in size. Therefore, these are the potassium atoms, boys. So that means the gap between atom to atom is that means more gaps is there. So it is wide. It is for potassium. It is for potassium. So this wide gap is much more higher than that of this one. This wide gap, that is wide in potassium, is much more higher than that of sodium. That means occupying area is very less, empty space is more. Because of that reason, density of this potassium is less than that of sodium. At the same time, it is one of the reasons And the second point, that is sodium, atomic number 11, electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. That means, so it is first orbit, it is second orbit, it is third orbit, it is ultimate, it is penultimate end. This penultimate shell is completely filled. Penultimate shell is covered. There is no vacancy for further electron cell. Next, in case of potassium, potassium is 19 atomic number. So electronic configuration is like this: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 4s1. It is ultimate orbit, last orbit. It is penultimate. Penultimate contains only 8 electrons, but 3d orbital also there, which has no electrons, and that means empty orbitals are there. Penultimate shell contains empty orbitals. This emptiness creates larger volume when compared to sodium. And because of increase in volume, automatically density decreases. So that means, so because of presence of anti-penultimate shell having empty d orbitals, so more emptiness is there. Because of that, abnormally, the density of potassium is more than that of, less than that of sodium. Less than that of sodium. These are the two important points about the density, boys. So finally, the order of density is lithium less than potassium less than sodium less than rubidium less than cesium, and rubidium less than cesium. Okay, so this is about some points. Next, all these elements have outermost one electron. NS1 is the configuration. NS1 is the configuration. If this S electron is lost by that element, so that element gets +1 as the oxidation state. So the only oxidation state exhibited by our alkali metals is +1. So after losing that electron, that element automatically equal to noble gas configuration. The electronic configuration is equal to noble gas configuration. That is why further one more electron losing tendency is not possible in case of alkali metals. That is why alkali metals never form +2, +3 like oxidation states. And the only one and only oxidation state exhibited by alkali metals is +1. And the one and only oxidation state exhibited by alkali metals is +1. Okay, so these are some general properties, boys. So that is the physical properties like that. Now, and most important concept, that is hydration and hydration enthalpy. So next concept, that is hydration, boys. Do you know hydration? Do you know hydration? Already number of times we discussed it at the time of chemical bonding elsewhere. So now here alkali metals, hydration and hydration energy. See here once again. Hydration and hydration enthalpy or hydration energy. What is hydration? Hydration means accumulation of water molecules on the surface of a metal ion. Accumulation of water molecules on the surface of metal ion when it is placed in water. When it is placed in water. Okay, that accumulation is called as hydration, because water is there. Water is generally called as hydro. So that is why that process is called as hydration. So see here what happened. Let us discuss about lithium. This is our lithium ion, boys. It is cation. It is cation. So around this cation, so water molecules are associated. Water molecules, because it is positive ion. Water has, see here. So oxygen has partial negative charge, hydrogen gets partial positive charge, partial positive charge. So that means this water molecule with this negative charge is attracted by this lithium, because lithium is in pleasant. That is our metal ion, not only lithium, any metal ion. So this is positive ion, this is the negative part of oxygen. Between these two there is an attractive force. Between these two there is an attractive force. Because of that, this ion is attracted. That means these water molecules are attracted towards this metal ion. So like this, number of water molecules are possible, boys. See here. So this is another water molecule attracting towards lithium. This is one other water molecule attracting towards this one. So this is one more water molecule. This is attracting like this. So like this, number of water molecules are surrounded. Because lithium is small in size, so 4 water molecules, but a greater attraction existing between that water molecules and metal ions. So in particular, small is the size of the ion. Small is the size of the ion. So automatically, more is the attraction between that water molecule and metal ion. So those attractive forces are nothing but electrostatic attractions. Those are nothing but between plus and minus. Electrostatic, dipole and ion dipole interactions. It is ion, boys. It is dipole. So ion dipole interactions are possible. Ion dipole interactive forces. So this is what we observed. See here. That is. So I'm joining these oxygen atoms. So these oxygen atoms are arranged themselves around that metal ion in the form of a tetrahedral. This is tetrahedral, boys. That means 4 water molecules around this lithium tetrahedrally arranged. This is the first layer. Water molecules are first attracted. So it is the first layer, boys. So now, so another. So around this first layer, another water molecules are also attracted in it. So here water molecules are attracted. Like this, number of layered water molecules are formed. Small is the size, more is the layers. Small is the size of cation, more is the layers. Number of water molecules like is possible, boys. This is the way water molecules are attracted towards the metal ion. Towards the metal ion. So like this, number of water molecules, boys. See here. This is called as primary layer. Primary layer, first layer. Primary layer. So next, the second one is called as, this is called as secondary layer. Secondary layer. Like this, number of different layers are possible, boys. So in case of lithium, very, very important. So in case of lithium, in primary layer, how many water molecules are surrounded around lithium ion, boys? So that is 4. So not only for lithium, so for Li plus, so Na plus and K plus, number of water molecules in primary layer is equal to 4. 4 water molecules are around it in a primary layer, boys. So because of the small sizes. So as size increases, number of water molecules also increases, but attractive power decreases. So that means hydration power decreases, but more water molecules are attracted. Therefore, in case of Rb plus and cesium plus ions, so number of water molecules in primary layer is equal to 6. So number of water molecules in primary layer is equal to 6. So these water molecules, 4 water molecules, tetrahedrally arranged. So this is the way tetrahedrally arranged, boys. So that means because of small size of lithium, sodium and potassium, only 4 water molecules tetrahedrally arranged. So as the size increases, number of water molecules around the metal ion increases. So for rubidium and cesium, so more surface area for both those metals, automatically more water molecules are there. 6 water molecules in primary layer are possible in octahedral way. It is tetrahedral, that is octahedral way. But as the size increases, this attractive power decreases. So here strong attraction there between water molecules and lithium. More is the attraction, between metal ion and water, so more energy released. More energy released. This released energy because of water is called as hydration energy. That released energy is called as hydration energy. What is hydration? What is hydration energy? So accumulation of water molecules around a metal ion when it is placed in water is called as hydration. So that hydration is due to the attractive forces between that metal ion and water molecules. So wherever attraction is there, automatically energy should be released. During hydration, between metal and water molecules, attractions are possible. Because of that attraction, energy will be released. That released energy is called as hydration energy. More is the hydration, more is the energy release. So this hydration, hydration is inversely proportional to size of the ion. Small is the size of the ion, more is the hydration. So hydration energy is directly proportional to hydration. Hydration energy is directly proportional to hydration, boys. So this is the concept behind this hydration and hydration energy or hydration enthalpy. So now what is the order of hydration in this group from top to bottom? In this group from top to bottom, what is the hydration? That is so see here, that is our lithium, Li plus, sodium, Na plus, potassium, rubidium, cesium and plus ions, cesium plus ions. So top to bottom, sizes of these ions increases. As top to bottom, sizes increases. As size increases, hydration decreases. Therefore, hydration energy also decreases. So hydration decreases, hydration energy decreases. So therefore, here more hydration, here less hydration is possible. More hydration, less hydration. More hydration means more number of layers are formed. As more number of layers are formed, automatically size is more. Therefore, hydrated lithium ion has more size. Actually, it is small in size. But in case of water is accumulated, that is hydrated situation, lithium has more size. Lithium has more size. That is why, what is the normal size order? What is the hydrated ion size order? So if normal size is less, hydrated ion has more size. So it is important. Therefore, the order of sizes of these ions. The order of size of normal alkali metal ions is normal, boys, not hydrated, before hydration. That is Li plus less than, Na plus less than, K plus less than, Rb plus less than, cesium plus n. Normal situation. So, but in case of hydrated ions, the order is that is, in case of hydrated ions, the order is that is small size has more hydration, more layers, more size. Therefore, Li plus aqueous condition, it is not normal condition, boys. It is in aqueous condition, has more in size than that of Na plus aqueous ion, which is more sized, K plus aqueous ion, which has more size. So that is Rb plus aqueous greater than Cs plus aqueous. See, boys, in water, which metal ion has more size? That is lithium. So in water, lithium ion has more size because more hydration takes place. more hydration takes place. Now, so boys, is there any doubt between these two? It is a normal situation. It is in water and in aqueous condition, because of hydration, Okay. So now, see boys, now mobility, that means speed of ions in water. What is the order of mobility of the speed of ions in water? So boys, which has more size, it is difficult to move. That means less is the speed end. So small size has more speed end. So therefore, this has more size than in water. Therefore, it has less mobility end. It has a small size end. It has more mobility. Mobility means movement end. So that means, so when compared to me, you are free to move end because I am something heavier. But you may be late. So that's why your speed is more than that of me. Like that. So small size ion has more is the speed. Big size ion has less is the speed. Therefore, it is the more size ion. So therefore, its mobility is lesser. Therefore, order is, what is the order? That is Li plus aqueous mobility. Mobility order ending. So Li plus is less than that of Na plus aqueous, less than that of A plus aqueous, less than that of Rb plus aqueous, less than that of Cesium plus aqueous. That means among these ions, which is free to move, boys, is this aqueous lithium or aqueous cesium? No doubt, aqueous cesium has more mobility in it. More is the speed in it. Okay, this mobility helps for the conductivity of solutions. So no doubt, aqueous solutions of alkali metals, metal salt solutions are good conductors. The conductivity is directly proportional to mobility of ions. Conductivity is directly proportional to mobility because ions are the charge carriers. If ions are free to move, charge is free to move. Charge is free to move means more is the conductivity. Therefore, so conductivity, boys, is directly proportional to mobility in mobility. Conductivity is directly proportional to mobility. Therefore, the order of conductivity, electrical conductivity of hydrated alkali metal ions is same because directly proportional to mobility. Conductivity is directly proportional to mobility. So the same order is also applied here. The same order. That means, so hydrated lithium has less conductivity than that of cesium, hydrated cesium. So this is all about your conductivity, boys. This is all about your conductivity. Very, very, very important. Very, very important. Okay, Umesh, please wait. At last I will explain. Okay, is there any doubt? So small size ion in water has big size. As the size increases, mobility decreases. As mobility decreases, conductivity decreases. So no doubt, it is very, very important. 100% a bit I expected in this Saturday based on this topic, boys. Very, very important. Okay, next one. Next. Order of hydration energy. Order of hydration energy. So how to express more hydration energy. And lithium has more hydration. Therefore, lithium has more hydration energy. Therefore, so more hydration. So this is the order of hydrated ions, boys. So therefore, the same is also applicable for this case. So more hydration, more is the hydration energy. Therefore, hydration energy of lithium is more than that of hydration energy of cesium. That means from top to bottom, hydration energy of these aqueous ions decreases. It is very, very important. Further, we will discuss it. Hydration energy from top to bottom decreases for these aqueous ions. Okay. Therefore, I am writing here hydration energy from top to bottom decreases. Hydration energy from top to bottom decreases. So it is very, very important. It is very, very important. Okay. This is about hydration, primary layer, secondary layer. So hydration energy, that is energy released during hydration. Okay. Next, size of the ions. So size of the ions. So mobility means more is the size. So if size is more, mobility means movement and movement. Move out. So mobility means movement end. So small is the size, movement is faster. Movement is faster. So that means movement is inversely proportional to mass end. So less is the mass, more is the mobility end. So automatically this is the order, boys. So okay. So now next topic end. Next one, that is what is that? In case of coloration, flame colors, flame colors, very, very important. So in physical properties, almost I think it is the last property, boys. So see here, that is flame color. What is this flame color or flame coloration? Okay. So boys, in our home, in our kitchen, so did you observe the color of flame that is out from our stove? So what is the color of flame in our stove? What is it? Is no doubt in most of the cases it is blue and very rare other colors are there. It is blue and no doubt. Okay, so that blue is the color of the flame. But when we introduce the salt of these metal ions, when we introduce the salt of these metal ions in that blue colored flame, automatically the color of that flame is changed. Different metal ions gives different flame colors. So that is due to the presence of this ionization energy. Some elements have very least ionization energy, some elements have more ionization energy. Because of this ionization energy variation, so different metal ions have different colors. Different metal ions have different colors. All our alkali metals gives different flame colors for Bunsen burn flame. So see here, what is the experiment here? So boys, so this is the salt, boys, from our alkali metals. From our alkali metals, this is the salt. This salt I am taking on watch glass. Watch glass. Watch glass is nothing but a glass plate. Simply it is a glass plate. So in this watch glass, I am taking that salt. I am taking the salt. Okay. Okay, use the chain addition also possible. Salt of 1 metal. Salt of 1 metal. So to this, drop by drop, add concentrated HCl. To this, drop by drop, add concentrated HCl so as to make that salt into paste. Just a few drops, 2 or 3 few drops are sufficient. 2 or 3 few drops are sufficient. Now, by adding with this concentrated HCl, now it becomes paste. So paste of our alkali metal salt. It is the paste of now alkali metal salt with concentrated HCl. With concentrated HCl. Now, this is our Bunsen burner flame. This is our Bunsen burner. So this is the flame, boys. This is the flame. Okay. So this is our Bunsen flame. Now that is it is the flame. So take this paste on platinum wire. on platinum wire. So it is very, very important. If platinum wire is not there because platinum is too much cost, now in our laboratory we are using glass rods. So platinum wire is replaced with glass rods. Okay. So this glass rods. So on this glass rod, so the paste is taken at the one of the edges. So automatically it is the glass rod, boys. This is the paste of that metal rod, of that metal solvent. Okay. Now up to that, the color of this flame is as usual blue in color. But when you introduce this paste in this flame, automatically the flame color will be changed. So different metal ions have different colors depending on their oxidizing power and so therefore, so what is the different colors? So those colors are called as flame colors. So our alkali metals all gives flame colors. All alkali metals all gives flame colors. So what are the flame colors of these alkali metals? See here. That is lithium ion. Lithium ion. So metal ion and flame color. What we observe. So lithium ion, this lithium ion gives crimson red and crimson red. Very, very important, boys. Lithium ion has crimson red. It is due to the formation of lithium hydroxide. So what is the flame color of lithium ion? Lithium salts gives crimson red for that flame color. So next, sodium ray. No doubt we know sodium vapor lamps in our street lights. So sodium vapor lamps, which colors may be emitted, boys? No doubt it is yellow ray. So that is sodium ray, yellow in color and yellow color and sodium. So generally golden yellow color. Golden yellow color. It is the flame color, boys. So next, potassium in K plus ion. So potassium ion has lilac, light, that is blue color, light blue color, which is also taken as pale violet. Pale violet, lilac, please keep in mind. So lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and rubidium plus ion has red violet. Red violet. So cesium plus ion has blue violet. Blue violet. These are the flame colors we observe, boys. So sometimes in our exams, wavelengths may be asked. Wavelengths may be asked. No doubt we know WebGR, boys. WebGR. WebGR. So red light has more wavelength. Violet has less wavelength. So violet has more energy. Red has less energy. That means from left to right, wavelength increases, energy decreases. Left to right, wavelength increases, energy decreases. See, boys, it is crimson red, almost red. Almost red. That means this has more wavelength. That means energy less. Energy less. Okay. So at less energy, that gives automatically the flame color. Next, almost violet, boys. So blue violet or violeted. So violet has less is the wavelength and more energy. That means from top to bottom, wavelength decreases, energy increases for the colors of the flame. Colors of the flame. So you should keep in mind, these flame colors are very, very important in qualitative analysis to identify the metal ions in your lab. So there is an unknown salt. If unknown salt is given, so to detect the metal ions, okay. So different metal ions have different colors. If potassium ion or any one of these metal ions are there, these are the colors we observe. Based on this observation, those salts may contain so corresponding ion, metal ion. So therefore, this flame color test, very useful to find out to identify the metal ion present in your given salt. That is in qualitative analysis. qualitative analysis to find out the metal ions. Flame color is the one of the most important tests. Okay. Next, and also atomic absorption spectroscopy. So this is one of the methods. So in these two cases, this flame color is observed. So these are some physical properties towards your alkali metals, boys. Now, what are the chemical properties of these elements? What are the chemical properties of these elements? See here. Chemical properties. Chemical properties. So alkali metals, when react with others, what happens? Chemical reactions, which type of reactions takes place? So see here, first one, action of air. Action of air. When air is focused to our alkali metals, what happens? Air contains, see boys, air contains oxygen gas, nitrogen gas, carbon dioxide, water vapor. So all these are present, boys. All these are present. When this air focuses to our alkali metals, so what type of reactions are possible? See here, our alkali metal, let it be M. M is our alkali metal, boys. This M first of all reacts with oxygen. That is from air. That is from air, first of all reacts with alkali metal. So automatically that gives respect to metal oxide. Respect to metal oxide. Okay, this is the oxygen from air, boys. It is the oxygen from air. So when alkali metal reacts with alkali, gives respect to oxides. Respect to oxides. So now this formed oxide further reacts with the water vapor present in air. So now this one reacts with H2O gas. So that is water vapor in air. Water vapor present in air. So automatically this metal oxide converts into metal hydroxide. Metal hydroxide, M plus and OH minus N. So corresponding metal hydroxide is the producted. Metal hydroxide. So corresponding alkali is the producted. So this formed metal hydroxide further reacts with the CO2 present in air. CO2 present in air. So therefore, metal hydroxide plus CO2 combination gives M2CO3, metal carbonate, and water vapor release. Water vapor release. So that means respect to carbonate is the final productant. That means if free metal ion is in focus with air, automatically that is converted into respect to carbonated. That means free metals are very reactive towards air. That is why our alkali metals never focus to air. Never focus to air. So if air is focused, automatically all these reactions are possible. First of all, converts into respect to oxides. Oxides are then converts into hydroxide. Those hydroxide later converts into respect to carbonates. So that is why it is difficult to store these metals. Therefore, that is why all these metals are stored in kerosene. So all alkali metals. So that is why, because of these reactions, to avoid all these reactions, our 1A metals are stored in kerosene. So our 1A metals are stored in kerosene. So it is very, very, very important, boys. Okay, so kerosene. Why alkali metals are stored in kerosene? So in particular lithium. This lithium is stored because it is something more reactive. So this lithium is stored by wrapping wax coated paper. By wrapping wax coated paper. So a wax coated paper is covered with that lithium that is stored in kerosene. So the further that is to give more protection, So that is why alkali metals are very reactive towards air, very reactive towards air. Because of this, alkali metals are stored in kerosene. Alkali metals are stored in kerosene. Okay. Next one, reaction with water. Second property, second chemical property, that is reaction with water. Reaction with water. What happened? All alkali metals react with water, but its reactivity from top to bottom increases. So here, all react with water. All metals react with water, but from top to bottom, reactivity reactivity increases. From top to bottom, reaction of alkali metals with water increases. Okay, see here what happened. So that is lithium, lithium. So this lithium reacts with water, that gives lithium oxide as the productant. Lithium oxide is the productant. So very, very important. That is, the reaction is a slow reaction. It is a slow reaction. Next, when sodium reacts with water, that gives sodium oxide, Na2 So sodium oxide. Just a minute, boys. So it is not like that. Simple, just a minute. That is, when our metal reacts with water, gives respect to metal hydroxide, M plus and OH minus. Metal hydroxide and evolve hydrogen gas. So this reaction is, here delta H is a negative ending. It is a highly exothermic. Huge amount of energy will be released. That released heat energy may be greater than the melting point of that particular metal. So because of this reason, so unreacted metals may be melted during this reaction with water. So may be melted. See here what happened. So for example, it is a highly exothermic reaction. So lithium reacts slowly. Sodium reacts vigorously. So sodium vigorously. Lithium, sodium, potassium. So it is violently. So rubidium and cesium, that is explosively. So this seems to be reactivity increases. So slowly and explosively. So reaction of water with our alkali metals, so automatically increases. So during this process, heating, that is hydrogen gas is liberated. So T2B means top to bottom in the group. Okay. So hydrogen gas evolved. So that hydrogen gas, because huge amount of heat energy will be released. In that heat, that hydrogen gas catches fire. Because very huge amount of heat energy will be released, because it is highly exothermic. That released hydrogen gas is burn and that catches fire. That catches fire. That may also be happened here. That may be also be happened here. Okay. Next one. So that released heat energy may be some metals are melted in, because that heat energy is more than that of melting point of these metals. Melting point of these metals. Okay. Because of this, sodium melted in. Sodium melted. So that means it forms a layer on the water. Because density of sodium is very, very less than that of water. Because of that, sodium layer is formed. Because a huge amount of energy, unreacted sodium melted itself, and a layer is formed on the surface of that water. Surface of that water. So this is all we observed. This is all we observed. So very, very important. So this is reaction with water. Now, burning in oxygen. Burning in oxygen, it is also important. Next property. It is very, very important, boys. I am trying to give more information my level based. So please read your textbooks also, and also our Ramarao sir book. Number of other reactions also there, and it is not possible to cover each and every reaction here. Almost most important reactions are I am covering here. Now, so burning in air. Next property, that is third property. Burning in air. So previously focused to air, just focused air, but it is the metal is burned in presence of excess of air. So that means there is a greater reactivity between this air and oxygen, air and that metal. So what happened? See here, boys. So lithium is there. This lithium reacts with both nitrogen and oxygen present in air. So our lithium reacts with both nitrogen and oxygen present in air and form with nitrogen lithium nitride Li3N, with oxygen that is lithium oxide. So it is the nitride, boys. It is oxides. That means when lithium is burned in excess of oxygen in air, so directly reacts with sodium and also oxygen with nitrogen, with not sodium, with nitrogen. This lithium gives respect to lithium nitride, with oxygen gives lithium oxide. What are the reactions? That is Li plus N2 gives Li3N. That is 6. It is 2. It is 6. It is 2. Lithium nitride. Lithium nitride. So lithium reacts with oxygen, gives Li2O. Li2O. 2 Li. Sorry, 4 Li. 4 Li, 2 Li2O. So respect to nitride and oxide are the products. Respect to nitride and oxide are the products. So only lithium directly reacts with nitrogen. So respect to nitride is the product. If other elements other than lithium directly reacts with sodium, gives respect to azide compounds. So that means very, very important, boys. Other than lithium, that is, let us take sodium. When sodium reacts with nitrogen, that gives NaN3 as the product. It is sodium azide. Sodium azide is the product, boys. Sodium azide. That means not only sodium, potassium, rubidium, all these gives respect to azides. It is nothing but Na plus ions, N3 minus ions. It is ionic compound, boys. So sodium azide is the product. So lithium with nitrogen gives lithium nitride, but other elements gives with nitrogen respect to azides. It is a special case of lithium, and it is the anomalous properties of lithium. It is the anomalous properties of lithium. So, okay, not only sodium, potassium, rubidium, whatever it may be, respect to azides are the products. Respect to azides are the products. Next, With oxygen gives respect to oxides, but with nitrogen, lithium gives nitride, but others gives azides and others gives azides. Next and very, very, very important, that is reaction with oxygen. Reaction with oxygen. That means our alkali metal, when reacts with oxygen, what are the different products formed? Listen carefully, it is important. That is lithium, when reacts with oxygen gives lithium oxide. So it is called as monoxide. Lithium monoxide. Lithium monoxide is the product. Lithium monoxide. Next, sodium, when reacts with oxygen gives, so sodium oxide and also sodium peroxide are the products. Here also boys. So and lithium peroxide formed, it is unstable. Unstable. Here it is unstable. Respect to oxide is unstable, but peroxide is stable, boys. That means when sodium reacts with oxygen, which is major product, peroxide is the major product and oxide is the minor product. So when lithium reacts with oxygen, monoxide is the major product and peroxide is the minor product. Almost peroxide is negligible, but a little is possible. Okay, so that means here this is major product, here this is major product. It is major. So these are the major products, guys. Okay, yes. Next. So potassium or rubidium or cesium. So whatever it may be the element, when it reacts with oxygen, gives respect to superoxides. So respect to superoxide, KO2 or RbO2 or CSO2. These are the products. These are all nothing but superoxides. These are all nothing but superoxides. Here O2. So O2 minus K plus, like this are possible, boys. See, finally, lithium can form only monoxides. Final conclusion: lithium can form only monoxides. Sodium can form peroxides, and other oxides gives superoxides. That means the formation of superoxide from top to bottom, when they react with and those metals react with oxygen, increases because electropositivity increases. So that means the possible, that is electropositivity increases, the formation of superoxides from top to bottom increases and oxides decreases. Formation of oxides decreases, but formation of superoxides increases. Finally, we concluded that lithium can form monoxides, sodium can form peroxides, and others can form superoxides. Now, what is the difference between this oxide, peroxide, and superoxide? See here. Oxides, peroxides, superoxide. Oxide, peroxide, superoxide. Oxide contains O minus 2 ion. O minus 2 ion. Peroxide contains O2 2 minus ion. Superoxide contains O2 minus 1 ion. These are the ions, boys. So oxide, oxygen has outermost 6 electrons, minus 2 means gains 2 electrons, total 8 electrons. Now I'm trying to draw Lewis structures. Oxygen, so it has 2 pairs of electrons and 2 unpaired electrons actually there, but minus 2 means gains 2 electrons. So these are those gained electrons. I'm drawing a little big. So this is oxide. So these are the lone paired electrons. This is already from oxygen. It is two unpaired electrons. It is directed. So it gains 2 electrons. These are the gained electrons. Finally, it reaches -2. This is oxide, boys. In this oxide, is there any unpaired electron, boys? See here, all these are paired and no unpaired electron exists. So that means no unpaired electron. All are paired electrons. All are paired electrons. Means these are diamagnetic end. That means oxides are diamagnetic end and colorless end. Colorless. Oxides have no color. Whenever unpaired electron exists, those are colored. Whenever unpaired electron exists, they are paramagnetic. No unpaired electron, diamagnetic, colorless. So because no unpaired electron, diamagnetic and colorless. It is about oxide, boys. It is about oxides. Now peroxides. So O2 -2. This is oxygen. This is oxygen. This oxygen has 2 pairs of electrons and 2 unpaired electrons. This oxygen has 2 pairs of electrons and 2 unpaired electrons. And -2 means 2 more electrons are gained. So these are the electrons gained. 2 electrons. So these 2 unpaired electrons are bonded up. So this is O2 -2. There is a single bond between oxygen and oxygen. This bond we call as peroxy bond. Peroxy bond. So here this oxygen has -1 oxygen state. This one has -1. Overall it is -1. Individually oxygen have -1 oxygen state. Next, here all the electron pairs, it is paired, it is paired, it is paired. All electron pairs are paired in once again. Therefore, here also all are paired electrons, no unpaired electrons. That's why it is also diamagnetic. It is colorless. That means the peroxides are also colorless. Peroxides are also colorless. Now, superoxides, boys. Superoxides. Here also 2 oxygens. Oxygen with oxygen. So 2 paired. Just a minute. It is 2 pairs of electrons. Here also 2 pairs of electrons. It has 2 unpaired. It has 2 unpaired. It is O2. But -1 means only 1 electron is gained. This electron first of all bonded up. Now that is the 1 electron which is paired here. This is the only electron gained. See, boys, it is unpaired electron. It is O2 -1 oxide. O2 -1. That is a superoxide, boys. Okay. So sometimes like this, it is in resonance with like this. And this is also we will rewrite it as oxygen with a single bond. So these are the 2 pairs of electrons. These are the 2 pairs of electrons. So this pair and this unpaired electron combination gives 3 electron bond. So there is a double bond character. There is a double bond character. So but one bond has 3 electrons. Therefore, it has odd electron bond. So it has odd electron bond. It has odd electron bond. Next, it contains unpaired electron, boys. It contains unpaired electron. Therefore, it has unpaired electron. Therefore, it is paramagnetic ending. It is paramagnetic. So, because of presence of that unpaired electron, automatically it is colored particularly orange or yellow color. It has orange or yellow color. That means the superoxides have colors. That means so potassium superoxide, rubidium superoxide, whatever it may be. If it is a superoxide, those superoxides have color because of presence of that unpaired electron. That unpaired electron, it has an odd electron bond in it. This is about oxide, peroxide, and superoxide. Okay, so now, so these oxides, peroxide, superoxide, all these are ready to involve in reaction with water. So when these oxides, peroxides, and superoxides and dissolved in water, yes, same color, we dissolved in water, automatically they react with water. So what happened when they dissolved in water? What happened when react with water? See here. That means all oxides, peroxides, and superoxides are unstable in the presence of water. Water is there, they are reactive. So see here, these reactions are important, boys. Oxide, O minus 2, it is oxide. Sodium oxide or potassium oxide, whatever it may be. So if it is oxide, it reacts with water, that gives 2 OH minus ions. Respect to hydroxide is formed. Respect to hydroxide. For example, when sodium oxide reacts with water, that gives NaOH is the productant. Sodium hydroxide is the product. It is the explosive reaction, guys. Next, it is oxide. Now peroxide. When peroxide reacts with water, that gives respect to hydroxide and hydrogen peroxide as a byproduct. Hydrogen peroxide as a byproduct. So it is now H2O. It reacts to 2H2O, that gives 2OH minus plus H2O2. So it is very, very important, boys. When peroxide reacts with water, for example, the sodium peroxide, Na2O2, reacts with the 2 water molecules, that gives 2 NaOH plus H2O2 is the productant. 2 NaOH plus H2O2. So when peroxide reacts with water, gives respect to hydroxide. So that means the peroxide on hydrolysis gives hydrogen peroxide. So in the preparation of hydrogen peroxide, peroxide generally gives hydrogen peroxide when it is hydrolyzed. So that is one of the preparation methods of hydrogen peroxide. Next, if superoxide is there, that is O2 minus, 2 moles this O2 minus, so reacts with 2 moles water, gives respect to hydroxides and hydrogen peroxide and oxygen gas. So these are the byproducts, boys. Oxygen gas. This oxygen gas is escaped out. Oxygen gas is formed. Okay. So now, let's example. Potassium superoxide, KO2, reacts with 2H2O, gives 2 KOH plus H2O2 plus O2 is the product. Plus H2O2 plus O2 is the product. So this is the reaction of our oxides, peroxide and superoxides when they are in contact with water, and very, very, very important. So here is only hydroxide. Here hydroxide plus hydrogen peroxide. Here hydroxide plus hydrogen peroxide plus oxygen. Superoxides gives oxygen gas. So that oxygen gas is paramagnetic, and as per your MOT. This liberated oxygen has paramagnetic as per your MOT concept. Okay. So this is all about oxides, boys. Oxides. And also, so reaction with oxygen when our alkali metals. Okay. So next. And most important, reaction with hydrogen. So reaction with hydrogen. Okay. Reaction with hydrogen. See, boys, what is the reaction of these alkali metals with hydrogen? So let us take, this is our alkali metal 2M plus, when it reacts with hydrogen, gives respect to MH compound. Here M has +1, hydrogen has -1. 2MH, it is metal hydride. So boys, here I am discussing hydrides also. Now I am discussing hydrides topic also, boys. So collectively I am explaining in concept. Okay. So this is ionic hydride. Ionic hydride, saline hydride, salt-like hydrides. So these are the compounds, guys. So because our S block elements can react with hydrogen gives respect to hydrides, those are called as ionic hydrides. So at the time of hydrogen, so this hydrides already we discussed. So this is ionic hydrides, guys. This is ionic hydrides. Now the rate of reaction. The rate of reaction of alkali metals with hydrogen is, that is, lithium greater than, rubidium greater than, cesium greater than, potassium greater than, sodium. And so lithium greater than, rubidium greater than, cesium greater than, potassium greater than, cesium, sodium. So that means highest reactivity is lithium and least reactivity for sodium. So it is probably, it is due to that is because of due to activation energy cell. Activation energy means yes, saline hydrides is the same name. So activation energy means that is energy required to complete the reaction, to convert that reactants into products. So minimum energy is required, that reduces the minimum energy is called as activation energy. So different chemicals have different activation energies. Because of that, this is the order of reactivity, rate of reaction. Order of rate of reaction. Okay. Now, when this metal hydride M plus and N minus reacts with water, water means H plus and OH minus twice. This OH minus, this H plus in combination gives MOH plus H2 gas is liberated. This MOH is nothing but alkali. Respect to alkali is the product. Respect to alkali is the product. So this is the way number of reactions. Next, we are discussing about what are the other compounds. That is nothing but with hydrides. What are the other compounds? That is lithium aluminum hydride, sodium borohydride. How these are formed? So properties of these hydrides. Properties of these hydrides, boys. Already at the time of saline hydrides, we completed. So once again, I'm explaining it. Once again, I'm trying. Next, these hydrides are colorless solids. These hydrides are colorless solids. Okay. Next, heat of formation, very, very important. Heat of formation. That means when this metal reacts with hydrogen, so metal hydride is formed, that heat of formation decreases. That means formation decreases means stability also decreases. Heat of formation decreases from top to bottom. From top to bottom. T to B means top to bottom. Okay. So heat of formation, therefore thermal stability. Top to bottom decreases. Thermal stability top to bottom decreases. So therefore, LiH is more stable in stability order. Stability order. It is with respect to lattice energy. Lattice energy order. Because these are ionic compounds have a lattice energy. So more is the lattice energy, more is the stability. So lattice energy is directly proportional to charge and inversely proportional to size of the ions. So that is why these two are less size, more lattice energy, more is the stability. So stability, lithium hydride greater than NaH, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. So this is the order of stability and thermal stability of these hydrides. Order of thermal stability of these hydrides. Next, chemical reactivity అని. Chemical reactivity also decreases, boys. Chemical reactivity also decreases. Lithium hydride is more reactive than cesium hydride. So that means the same is the order of chemical reactivity also. So thermal stability order and chemical reactivity order. So same. Next, ionic character. Ionic character increases. Ionic character increases, boys. See here, lithium hydride is less ionic end, order end. Order of ionic character. Lithium hydride less than sodium hydride, less than lithium sodium potassium hydride, rubidium hydride, and cesium hydride. See here lithium hydride is covalent in nature, and already we have completed, boys. This lithium hydride is covalent, remaining all are ionic hydrides. Remaining all are ionic. That means ionic nature, ionic character ending. That is according to your Puzzle's rules. So formation of ionic compounds. So that is, this is the order end. Ionic hydrides order end. Next, when these hydrides reacts with water, chemical reactions. When metal hydride reacts with water, that gives, see, water means H plus OH minus. This H plus and this minus combination gives metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is liberated, boys. When water reacts with these metal hydrides, automatically, so water is liberated. That means alkali is the product, and already we completed the concept. Next, when this metal hydride reacts with ammonia, it is important, boys. It is important. Ammonia, that gives NaH3 is nothing but NaH2H. This H and this H combination gives H2. That gives MnH2 plus H2. Here also hydrogen gas is liberated. For example, when NaH reacts with NaH3, that gives NaNH2 plus H2. This is called as sodamide. Sodamide. So best reducing agent, boys. So best reducing agent, sodamide is the product, and so hydrogen gas is liberated. Next, when metal hydrides reacts with alcohol, so I'm writing example, boys. So that is NaH reacts with C2H5OH, and ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol, that gives C2H5ONa plus H2 gas. Here also hydrogen gas liberated, boys. That means alcohol I am representing ROH, that is RO minus ion, M plus ion, plus H2 is the product, plus H2 is the product. This is called as sodium ethoxide. But hydrogen gas, see, boys, when reacts with water, hydrogen liberated. When reacts with ammonia, hydrogen liberated. When reacts with alcohol, hydrogen liberated. When reacts with water, hydrogen is liberated. So this is, that means, so whenever hydrogen is liberated, these are the good reducing agents. Hydrogen supplying agents. So these are good. That is, our metal hydrides are good reducing agents. So now some properties about that reducing agents. That is, metal hydrides are good reducing agents. These are all good reducing agents, boys. So the best example, see some reactions, boron trifluoride, BF3. So when reacts with NaH, sodium hydride, that gives B2H6 plus NaF is the product. B2H6, it is diborane. It is the one of the diboranes preparation, boys. So diborane. So 2BF3, 6 NaH. So that is 6 NaF. That is the preparation of diborane. That is the preparation of diborane. Next, similarly, if BF3, boron trifluoride, reacts with 2 moles, it is 8 moles NaH, lithium aluminum hydride, that gives NaBH4. Very, very important, boys. NaBH4, that is 2 times plus 6 NaF. 6 NaF. This is sodium borohydride. It is ionic compound. So see here, it is plus ion, it is minus ion. It is ionic compound. It is ionic compound. Next. So it is ionic compound. Here BH4 minus ion exists. That BH4 minus ion, it has a tetrahedral shape. That is, I am drawing here boron with hydrogen, 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 BF4 minus ion. So it is a tetrahedral shape. It has a tetrahedral shape. It is ionic compound. So NaBH4 is ionic compound. It is the good reducing agent in organic chemistry. In organic chemistry, good reducing agent, boys. So when BF3 reacts, it is the most important productant. It is the most important product. Next, similarly, some other reactions. When AlCl3, aluminum chloride reacts with LiH, lithium hydride, that gives AlH3 plus 3LiCl. So that means aluminum hydride is the productant. Aluminum hydride. Similarly, that means so chlorine is removed, hydrogen is added, it is the reducing agent. Next, AlCl3 reacts with 4LiH, gives LiAlH4 plus 1 Li complete 3LiCl. 3LiCl. This is called as lithium aluminum hydride, which is called as lithium aluminum hydride. So this is also, see here, Li plus AlH4 minus. This is also ionic compound. This is also ionic compound. Here AlH4 minus is a tetrahedral, just like in BH4 tetrahedral. So tetrahedral shape, both BH4 minus and AlH4 minus are tetrahedral shape. Very, very important. Okay. Next one, BH4, that is NaBH4, is used as reducing agent in aqueous solution also, but not LiAlH4. LiAlH4 not used as a reducing agent in aqueous solution, but NaBH4 is used as a reducing agent in aqueous solution. So LiAlH4 not used for reducing agent in aqueous solutions. Why, sir? See here. So BH4, from this BH4 minus involved in the reaction. So this BH4 I'm drawing here. See here. So BH4, this is a tetrahedral shape. Boron has no empty orbital. Boron has no empty orbital. So if water is there, that is aqueous solution means water. So water oxygen has 2 lone pairs. This lone pair is not donated. That means no reaction takes place. No reaction takes place. That's why. So BH4 not reacts with water because of absence of empty orbital. So for example, if AlH4 is taken, see here, AlH4 is taken. This is a tetrahedral in shape, just like that. But aluminum has empty orbitals because aluminum, so 13, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1 and 3s2, 3p1. But empty orbitals are, p orbitals are there, d orbitals are also there. Particularly d orbitals are there. Those empty orbitals, 3d is 0 and so those d orbitals are responsible for reactivity of water. H2O is there. So this lone pair is donated by that oxygen to this one. Automatically, there is a reaction. There is a reaction between AlH4 minus and water, which is nothing but hydrolysis. Hydrolysis reaction. That means, so here hydrolysis reaction takes place. That means, so water and AlH4 involved in the reaction, our target equation is reaction is misplaced. Because of that, so in presence of water, AlH4 is not used as a reducing agent, but BH4 minus ion, NaBH4 is used as a reducing agent. Because no reaction here takes place, the reaction between water and that hydride, that is hydrolysis reaction takes place. Side reaction is possible here. Here side reaction is not possible. That is why it is used, it is not used. Okay. So this is all about your, so that is our hydrates, boys. It is all about your hydrates. So reaction with hydrogen and also reaction with hydrogen and also some of the compound properties of hydrates. So two topics are completed. Hydrates and reaction with hydrogen. Next, reaction with other elements. So reaction with Abhishek, at last please ask. Reaction with other non-metals and other non-metals. So hydrogen is non-metal. Okay. Now I am taking our alkali metals with boron. Sorry. So that is with boron and some others. So reaction with other non-metals, that is, so with sodium with boron, that gives Na3b. Sodium boride is the product. Na3b. So like that, K3b are possible. Respect to borides are the products. Respect to borides are the products. Next, if it is reaction with phosphorus, so next, carbon. Carbon plus 1A metal, no reaction. Carbon plus 1A metal, no reaction. But when acetylene, C triple bond CH, reacts with sodium metal, this hydrogen is replaced, boys. So that gives C triple bond C, Na and Na, hydrogen gas is formed. It is a sodium acetylide. So direct reaction of carbon with alkali metal is not possible. But compounds of carbon, that is hydrocarbons, in particular acetylene, triple bonded compounds, reacts with sodium metal, gives respect to hydrogen gas. So sodium acetylide, disodium acetylide is the product. Disodium acetylide is the product. Next, our alkali metal when reacts with phosphorus, that gives M3P. Phosphide is the product. Metal phosphide is the product. Okay. If this phosphide reacts with water, that gives MOH and PH3 is the product. This PH3 is called as phosphine gas. Phosphine gas is released. Very, very important, boys. Phosphine gas. Respect to hydroxide. First of all, when metal reacts with phosphorus, gives respect to phosphide. This phosphate is hydrolyzed, that gives phosphine gas. That gives phosphine gas. Similarly, when metal reacts with halogen, that gives metal halides are the production. Here X is nothing but fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So these compounds are called as halides. Later we will discuss in the compounds, halogen compounds. Halogen compounds. These are some chemical reactions. And most important property is, so very important. That is alkali metal solutions. Alkali metal in solution of ammonia, ammonia solution. So now solutions of alkali metals in liquid ammonia. Solutions of alkali metals in liquid ammonia. What is this, sir? See, boys, if alkali metal is placed in water, hydration takes place. Around that alkali metal, water molecules are accumulated. Just like that, here water is replaced with ammonia. Ammoniation takes place. If water is there, that is hydration. So if other than water, that is called as solvation. That solvation is possible here because it is using ammonia. It is called as ammoniation. Hydration is now replaced with ammoniation. Ammoniation. What happens here? See here, boys. So ammonia, NaH3. So it is NaH3, boys. This nitrogen has partial negative charge. Hydrogen gets partial positive charge. So that means our ammonia is also a polar molecule, just like water. Just like water, ammonia is also a polar molecule. There is a polarity. So just like water, ammonia is also associated around that metal ion. That is why it is called as ammoniation or solvation. Ammoniation or solvation. See here. So our metal, when dissolved in ammonia, converts into M plus ion and electron. M plus ion and electron. So easy to lose. This M plus ion, metal ion, is surrounded by ammonia molecules. It is NaH3, boys. Just like water, ammonia is there. So which is called as ammoniated cation, metal ion, ammoniated cation. Similarly, this electron also associated with ammonia. This is also ammonia, boys. This is also ammonia. That means electron is also associated with ammonia molecules. Therefore, it is called as ammoniated electron. Ammoniated electron. Because of presence of this ammoniated electron, the ammonia solutions, alkali metal ammonia, liquid ammonia solutions are blue in color. The color of the solutions is blue. It is due to the presence of this ammoniated electrons. This ammoniated. So overall, I am writing the equation wise. See here. See here. That is so M reacts with X plus Y times of ammonia, that gives M plus ions. So with X molecules of ammonia, so that is ammoniation takes place, X moles. Next, electron with Y moles of ammonia. So this is ammoniated metal ion, that is nothing but cation. This is nothing but ammoniated electron, that is nothing but ammoniated electron. So because of this ammoniated electron, the solution is paramagnetic. The solution of ammoniated, so liquid ammonia solution is a paramagnetic because of presence of this ammoniated electron, nothing but unpaired electron. And also blue colored solution. So this blue color is due to the presence of that ammoniated electron. So solution becomes blue because of that ammoniated electrons, boys. Ammoniated electrons. So see, boys, because it releases electron, those releasing electrons are responsible for reduction purpose. Therefore, ammonical solutions, ammonical solutions in liquid ammonia are good reducing agents. In liquid ammonia are good reducing agents. Okay. So next, these are good electrical conductors. So these are good electrical conductors due to the presence of, so this ammoniated cation and ammoniated electrons. Electrical conductivity is due to the presence of mobility of ions or electrons. So these ammoniated electrons and ammoniated electrons are responsible conductivity because of existence. These are good conductors due to the presence of ammoniated cation and ammoniated electron. Due to the presence of ammoniated cation and ammoniated electron. See, boys, what happened? So where this electron is present, so this unpaired electron in ammonia molecules, even ammonia molecules are attached, so there is a lot of gaps in it. So in those gaps, these electrons are fitted. Because of that fitting, there is interstitial space. Because of that, volume is increased. As volume increases, density is decreased. So therefore, here electrons are present in the vacant spaces between ammonia molecules. Therefore, volume increased, that implies density decreased. Therefore, the solution floats on water. That is, ammonical solution floats on water. So because of this condition, so ammonia solution floats on water because of this solution. That is, ammoniated electrons, their volume increase, automatically density increases. So when compared to water, the density of the solution is very, very less. That's why it floats on water. It floats on water. Now, that is, some other, because aqueous ammonia is a good reducing agent. So what are the reactions involved with this aqueous ammonia? So I'm giving some examples, boys. See here. Before going to that, some other properties, that is very, very important. Now, these are good conductors because of presence of the cation and electron, and also blue in color. If concentration of this metal ion increases, conductivity decreases, and color of the solution converts into bronze color. See here. When concentration of metal increases, in ammonia, okay, so very, very important, in ammonia, electrical conductivity decreases. So next, and also color of solution changes from blue to bronze. Very, very important. So if concentration of metal ion increases, color is also changed from blue to bronze color. Next, actually it is paramagnetic. So paramagnetic changes to diamagnetic. So that means in presence of high concentration of ammonia, so solution color is bronze and low conductivity and diamagnetic. Actually, previously I told that it is paramagnetic, it is blue in color, it is good conductor. But as concentration of metal increases, automatically the color color changes to bronze and conductivity decreases to a minimum whose concentration is 0.05 M boys. Okay, so next one also, so actually it is paramagnetic, but it is changed to diamagnetic. Finally, change it to diamagnetic. These are very, very, very important points, guys. Okay, now next point, that is, so O2, when O2 collects that electron released by sodium in liquid ammonia, sodium in liquid ammonia releases one electron, that electron is collected by oxygen, that converts into O2 minus. O2 minus means superoxide. That means oxygen changes to superoxide in sodium in liquid ammonia. This one, once again, sodium in liquid ammonia, once again applied in it. One more electron is released. This electron also accepted, that converts into O2 minus 2, which is peroxide. That means oxygen gas in sodium liquid ammonia converts into, first of all, superoxide and then converts into peroxide. It is very, very, very important reaction, guys. In sodium in liquid ammonia. So this is the best reducing agent, boys. This is when this reaction is used in organic chemistry under the name Birch reduction. So organic chemistry, this is the name of the reaction, boys. In Birch reduction, the reducing agent is sodium in liquid ammonia. Some of the reducing properties of these elements, these compounds, I explained, boys. So a few. For example, that is reducing properties. That is K2NiCO-CN4. Here nickel is in +2 oxidation state, boys. When it reacts with potassium in the presence of liquid ammonia, so these two, that converts into K4NiCN4. Here nickel oxidation state 0, boys. So here nickel oxidation state +2, here nickel oxidation state 0. It is reduced with the help of this chemical agent. So potassium in liquid ammonia is the reducing agent, just like in sodium in liquid ammonia. So like this, number of reducing properties are there. So please check your materials. So identify those reactions and rewrite in your notebook. All reactions I am not covered here, boys. Okay. Next property. So listen, within 5 minutes I will close. Formation of alloys. That means alloy means mixing of different metals. So metal plus metal combination gives a new compound. That new compound has metal. So our alkali metals also form alloys with metals like mercury. If one of the metals is mercury, that is called as amalgam. See here, our sodium reacts with mercury, gives NaHg is formed, which is called as sodium amalgam. And also Na2Hg also formed, and it is also sodium amalgam, boys. So this type of alloys are possible. That is, our alkali metals gives alloys. Next, complex forming ability. That means, so no doubt our D block elements are easy to form complexes. Because they have small size. So that means the conditions for complex forming ability, requirements for this one is, first one, small size. Second one, more nuclear charge. Third one, empty orbitals. So empty orbitals, boys. So these are the requirements to form complexes. But our alkali metals, almost they have small less charge, +1 is only. Next, no empty orbitals almost possible, no empty orbitals possible. Because of this situation, so almost our alkali metals never form, generally not form complexes. But lithium may be possible because of small size. So most of the alkali metals never form complexes. So generally not formed. Less tendency. So no ani cheppalem gaani, it has less tendency to form complexes. Okay, more nuclear charge. More nuclear charge. Okay, so our alkali metals have less tendency to form complexes. Next, and also tendency to form hydrated salts. Tendency to form hydrated salts. That means, so hydration, physical interaction. So like that. See here, lithium. So tendency to form hydration. Here also requirements. Requirements to form hydrated salts. That is more charge and small size. These are the requirement, boys. But our alkali metals are, when compared to other metals, big in size and small size is almost negligible. So that is why only lithium and sodium can form hydrated salts. So remaining elements never form hydrated salts. Like that, lithium and sodium can form. So LiCl H2O, hydrated lithium chloride. Lithium chloride. So it is a possibility. Next, similarly, Na2CO3, 10H2O, hydrated salt is formed. Like this, only lithium and sodium can form hydrated salts. So no other element can form this type of compounds. So next, similarly, Na2S2O3, 10H2O, it is called as hypora. Hypo, that type of sodium compounds are all possible. That type of sodium compounds are all possible. Next, boys, please wait 5 minutes. And very important topic. Yes, very important topic. Please wait 5 minutes. That's very important. That is reduction potentials, boys. Our alkali metals are good reducing agents. The reducing property of these alkali metals are explained with the help of standard reduction potentials. See here, standard reduction potentials. So standard reduction potential, in short, SRP values. SRP values, standard reduction potential values, SRP values. SRP values. So see, boys, reducing property of a metal is generally explained with the help of SRP. So that is, reducing property is inversely proportional to SRP values. Reducing property is inversely proportional to SRP. So in our alkali metals, so lithium is the best reducing agent. So sodium is the least reducing agent. So among alkali metals, the best reducing agent is lithium. Or sodium is the least reducing agent. So generally, SRP value depends on first one, sublimation energy. So let us take that is delta H sublimation, which is I am representing as delta H1. Sublimation energy. Second one, ionization enthalpy, that is delta H ionization. I am taking this one as delta H2. Third one, that is hydration energy. Hydration enthalpy. Hydration enthalpy. So that is delta H hydration. So I am taking delta H3. So therefore, overall delta H value is equal to delta H1 plus delta H2 plus delta H3. So sublimation energy positive, it is energy absorbed process endothermic end. Ionization energy positive, it is energy absorbed, so that is also endothermic end. To remove electron, energy is required. Hydration energy, it is released energy. Therefore, delta H is a negative bias. Therefore, it is positive, but it is a negative end. Overall value depends on SRP value depending on this delta H value. SRP value depends on the delta H value. So see here how, sir? That is see here. So for example, M, metal is in solid state. First of all, this metal is converted into gaseous state. It is called as sublimation. That is delta H1. Solid is changed to gas. So after conversion, that is changed to plus ion. It is ionization energy delta H2. So after getting gaseous positive ion, so hydration, water is added. So therefore, delta H3, hydration is applied. Now M plus aqueous ion is possible. Therefore, here M change it to M plus, it is called as oxidation. So if reverse is observed, M plus to M, which is called as reduction. So for reduction, there is reduction potential. At standard conditions, standard reduction potential is applied. Those standard reduction potentials are responsible. All these values are depending on delta H value. That SRP value depending on delta H value. Okay. So finally, reducing property is inversely proportional to SRP. It is the final condition. Please keep in mind, no need of all these. Reducing property is inversely proportional to SRP value. So our alkali metals SRP values are like this. Our alkali metals SRP values are like this. See here. Elements SRP. So lithium has minus 3.04 volts. SRP value is expressed in volts. So generally these values we will explain at the time of electrochemistry, boys. There you should understand, no need of here. Don't bother about this. Lithium. Sodium, that is minus 2.714 volts. Sodium. Potassium minus 2.925 volts. Rubidium, it has minus 2.930 volts. Cesium, it has minus 2.927 volts. 927 volts. See, boys, order of SRP. So least value, greatest negative means least. Lithium less than. Next chance any. Rubidium less than. Cesium less than. Rubidium, cesium less than. Next, potassium less than sodium. Less than sodium. So because SRP is inversely proportional to reducing property, therefore order of reducing power is lithium greater than, rubidium greater than, cesium greater than, potassium greater than sodium. Therefore, lithium is the best reducing agent, sodium is the least reducing agent in alkali metals. In alkali metals, lithium is the best reducing agent and sodium is the least reducing agent, boys. So therefore, the reducing property is highest for lithium in aqueous solutions.